Hi, I'm Peter, and this is the very first episode of Discussionizer. Recently I read a lot about abortions, and when I discussed it with my friends, it turned out to be an extremely emotional topic. So I thought it's gonna be a very good candidate for my first video. Basically, we can split all these discussions around abortion to two big groups. The first is whether abortion should be legal or illegal, and the other is whether abortion is moral or immoral. Now, we're not going to talk about the first one because in most Western countries, first of all, it's legal, and if it's not legal, then there is very little you can do about it. So let's focus on the second one, which is more important. The moral point of view can be approached from many angles, and today we are going to focus on two of them. The first is what we consider as a start of human life. The second is, should the pregnant woman be the only one considered to decide on the life of a fetus? Now, if we start with the first one, some consider as a start of a human life already from conception, so basically when the sperm fertilizes the egg. Now, some say that it is from the first recognizable heartbeat. Fair enough. Now, also, some would say that it is from actually giving birth. That's also fine. However, you can even go further. In some African tribe in the western edges of Kalahari would consider the start of human life only from the name-giving ceremony. So it is an extremely difficult question to answer. However, what you can see is that probably it depends mainly on what society you are in. The second is, should the pregnant woman be the only one who decides on the life of a fetus? Now, many say when the woman becomes pregnant, the fetus is in her body, so she does whatever she wants. Now, other has a different approach or different view because the fetus is a different entity. It's in her body, but it's not the part of her body. Now, that discussion goes back and forth, and this can become extremely acrimonious. However, I think it's more interesting to discuss what the value of the fetus is. So let's see two different situations. In situation A, when a pregnant woman wants to keep the child, the value of the fetus basically becomes infinite. Now, in the other situation, when the same woman doesn't want to keep the child, the value of the fetus reduces to zero. Now, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense. How is it possible that the value of the same thing varies between zero and infinite and solely depends on the wish of the mother? Nevertheless, had my girlfriend asked me when I was 20 years old whether we want to keep a child or not, I would have suggested her an abortion. However, that would have been purely driven by selfish reasons, and I'm fine accepting that. The problem nowadays is that people look at abortion as almost an equivalent of a tooth extraction, and I think it's not going to the right direction. We are free, we are independent, we can do everything we want, but I think this is something where we've gone a bit too far. Again, I'm not suggesting this should be illegal. I think it's a very practical option, and it should be definitely part of our modern society. However, we should not glorify it, as in most of the time, it is the result of us being stupid or extremely selfish. Now, you may ask why I have such a strong opinion about that. Well, let me share some statistics to support my point of view. And with that one, we will go to the next part of the video. Fun facts with Peter. I believe those statistics will speak for themselves. First, depending on the ethnic group, between 42 to 70% of all pregnancies are unintended. Second, in 2012, New York City all reported abortions outnumbered live births in black children. Now, the third, and one of the most important, is actually reasons for choosing to have an abortion. Well, the three most important things are having a baby would dramatically change my life. Well, no shit. Then the second one, cannot afford a baby now. Wow, okay. Third, do not want to be a single mother or having relationship problems. Well, one interesting thing, less than 1% of women choosing this was a victim of rape. Now, seriously, ladies and partners, I think we can do better than that. It is also interesting that what can be the last moment for an abortion. Now, in the Netherlands and in the UK, the last week is the 24th. In the US, it, depending on the states, varies from 12 to 25 weeks. Now, you may have heard about this big fuss about this heartbeat law that they tried to introduce in some states in the US. But what is it doing actually? It's basically preventing ladies from having an abortion after the 12th or the 13th week from conception. Now, the interesting thing is that only 8% of abortions would be filtered out. Why is it interesting? It is interesting because for late abortions, aka plus 13 weeks, the most common reasons are the following. Women didn't recognize pregnancy or misjudged gestation, or women had found it hard to make arrangements for earlier abortions. Again, I think it speaks for itself. We should have better education about sex, use protection during sex, and check the signal of our body. After all, I do believe abortion should be allowed as it is a practical option. However, I think it's mainly happening because we are either selfish or stupid. Now let me quote here one of my female friends. She said, "Sometimes when I'm walking around, I wonder, more abortions should be allowed." Now, that was it, guys. So let me know what you think. I'm really curious about your opinion. Please share it in the comment section or just write me, that's fine. Don't forget to subscribe or like the video. And thanks for watching.